Hi, this is Fitness Boyd, and I normally wouldn't do a response video to something as silly as a $1,000 challenge that I have no serious reason to believe would be paid out. But I want to kind of maybe take a serious look at this science versus Broscience debate that's going on right now and weigh in. I respect the fact, obviously, there's science involved. However, when meeting fitness goals, you can't just take practical life out of meeting those fitness goals and say, well, so long as the science is there to support your goal, you're going to achieve your goal. So I want to take on this Poptart example. The argument being set forth is a claim that if you eat Poptarts in your diet, which is a quote-unquote dirty food, you can burn fat. I don't think anybody would suggest that if you eat Poptarts, you can't burn fat. You can burn fat regardless of what you eat. It's more of a matter of how much are you eating of certain foods, and are you meeting your ultimate macronutrient goals and caloric goals. If you're meeting your caloric goals and macronutrient goals, you will burn fat. You can achieve your fitness goals. The concern that I have is this notion that eat Pop-Tarts, they're fine, eat whatever you want, they're fine, so long as you're meeting your goals, calorically speaking or macronutrient level speaking, you're going to meet your ultimate fitness goals. While I believe that's ultimately true, that's a scientific assertion and that's true, it's not so simple when you're actually in a 3-month cutting diet, or however long you want to do a cutting diet. I have a fitness video on my channel. It's the only video I have right now, and it's of a 3-month transformation I did while doing P90X. And outside of that 3 months, I lost about, I went from 225 down to 189, so I lost about 36 pounds. And while I was doing P90X, I started out at about 212, went down to 189. So I lost 23 pounds in a 3-month span while doing P90X, which included strict dieting, strict caloric levels, strict macronutrient levels, and physical exertion, different forms of exercise, mostly calisthenic P90X type exercise. When I was doing the P90X diet, my caloric goals were about 1,800 net calories per day, and my goals were 40, 40, 20, 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. And as I went through the diet, I adjusted those to give myself more carbs, less protein in the day, so I could meet my workout goals better. The issue I have with this Pop-Tart challenge, so to speak, certainly you can eat Pop-Tarts, you can fit them into your diet. But if you're doing a 3-month cutting diet with very specific caloric goals, with a very limited caloric intake per day, it can be very difficult to meet your caloric goals on a day-in, day-out basis. So if you're going to be eating a lot of Pop-Tarts on your diet, you better be doing it on cheat days. And if you have more than one cheat day in a week, you're going to have a heck of a time meeting your caloric goals. When I did my diet, I did no cheat days whatsoever, and I met my goals, but it was not easy to do. If I had been eating Pop-Tarts, well, let me put it this way, anybody who's actually dieted and seen results from dieting, and when I talk about dieting, I mean meeting macronutrient levels and meeting caloric deficit, anybody who's dieted for a long period of time learns that you value every last calorie that you're eating on every daily basis. And if you're eating Pop-Tarts, you're getting a lot of empty calories. And that term empty calorie is for a reason. A Pop-Tart, I figure, has, depending on the type of Pop-Tart you eat, but generally speaking, Pop-Tart has 76 carbs, 76 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of protein. If you break that down, that's about a 19-to-1 carb to protein ratio. So, and if you have 2 Pop-Tarts, which is what comes in a typical Pop-Tart wrapper, that's 420 calories. Depending on your caloric goals, 2 Pop-Tarts is about a quarter of what you can eat in one day. under this caloric deficit goal of losing weight, burning fat. So if you are doing a diet, and let me also add that two Pop-Tarts has approximately 1 gram of fiber in it. So if you're eating 2 Pop-Tarts, that's about a quarter of what you're allowed to eat in one day. You're getting 1 gram of fiber. You're getting a ton of grams of carbs, very few grams of protein. So in order to meet your macronutrient goals in that day, you're going to have to eat a ton of nasty food to just balance it out. And if you continue at this pace on a day in, day out basis, you're not going to meet your goals because you're going to get tired of eating empty calories, not feeling sustained, not having fiber in you, not having actual food with substance in you. If you eat enough dirty food, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to bonk during workouts. You're not going to ultimately meet your nutrient goals. You're not going to meet your diet goals. You're not going to meet your exercise goals, your fitness goals. If you have a diet high in Pop-Tarts, sooner or later you're going to crash. To make a diet in the long term, you have to eat a lot of clean foods, and the reason for that is you make every last calorie count. When you are eating foods like chicken breast, whole grains like brown rice, whole grain bread, when you're eating other foods that are lean, I drank a lot of skim milk, I ate a lot of shredded wheat, I ate a lot of chicken, eat some eggs, eat some almonds. When you're eating all these clean foods that have that are pretty well balanced, you can fit them into your macronutrient goals rather effectively. If you're eating a lot of Pop-Tarts, you're going to have to balance out every Pop-Tart you eat with some kind of other food. I came up with a meal plan here. At my current weight, I'm 200 pounds. I'm about 6 feet tall. For me to lose 2 pounds a week, caloric deficit, I need to consume 1,455 calories per day. If I have 2 Pop-Tarts, that's 420 calories. That's 10 grams of fat, 76 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of protein with 1 gram of fiber. I'm not going to feel very satisfied after those 2 Pop-Tarts, but that's over a quarter of what I'm allowed to have in a day. To balance that out, I've got to have 3 servings of 4 ounces of chicken. I've got to have only 2 slices of bread. Got to get some carbohydrates in there above and beyond the Pop-Tarts. I put in Greek yogurt, which is about a 50-50 ratio between grams of carbs, grams of protein. Threw in some almonds because you got to meet your fat goals. Got to boost up your fat in the day's intake. So 1 serving of almonds. And then to overcompensate for all those grams of Pop-Tarts I had, all those carb grams, I still have to have a supplement, a scoop of protein, whey protein supplement. That's not a lot to eat over one day's time. My point in all of this is if you're eating empty calories, if you're eating dirty food, you're not going to feel sustained in your diet. Ultimately, you're not going to meet your nutrient goals because, again, anybody who's had dieting, strict dieting, over a substantial period of time and who've actually achieved results because they've stuck to their diet, anybody who's done that can tell you to follow such a strict diet, you have to make every calorie count for something positive, for something that fits in your macronutrient goals. And anybody can tell you you're not going to eat things like Doritos because that'll wreck your stats for the day. That'll wreck your goal for the day. You can't eat Pop-Tarts. So I hope I'm making sense. I don't mean to get too repetitive with this. My goal is, I want people to meet their goals. I want people to meet their fitness goals. And yeah, sure, science supports the hypothesis that you can eat whatever you want so long as your macronutrient goals are 40-40-20, whatever your goals may be, 50-30-20. While it's true that science supports a claim that as long as you meet your macronutrient goals and your caloric goals, real life tells you if you've actually had to meet those ratios, you got to make every calorie count. And the best way, and really the only way to do that and have satisfaction at the end of the day and not be starving laying in bed because your blood sugar is at 0, you got to have a clean, regular intake of food in small amounts throughout the day. You know, I don't want to use science as a hammer to hit people over the head and say, it's all science, just do science. As long as you do science, you can do whatever you want. While obviously the science is there, I think the science supports Broscience as well. And I think ultimately, if you want people to achieve their goals, they're going to have to follow the Broscience, because that's supported by real science as well. Broscience is real science meeting practical, real life, and there's only one way to achieve your fitness goals, and that's through following someone's advice who has experience in accomplishing these goals. Thanks for listening, and I hope you found this informative.